guys, David Clayton here with GuitarBreakdown.com. Welcome back to another lesson. As you can see, I have the jazz box out, so we will be doing another quick lick jazz lick. I haven't done one of these in a while. We did a bunch of George Benson licks and I think a few Coltrane licks. We got a whole bunch more Coltrane licks coming up and some Michael Brecker things, Wes Montgomery, Miles Davis, blah, blah, blah. We have so much stuff coming up. But right now we're going to do a Barry Galbraith. I believe that's his last name. I'm Galbraith. I'm terrible at pronouncing last names and I apologize. But this is a legendary jazz guy. And this is based off of a lick from Guitar Techniques magazine, January 2014. And we do a lot of licks, a lot of jazz things based on this magazine from time to time. It's just a magazine that's so well done. And my advice to anybody is grab a subscription to this. It's a little expensive, especially if you buy it month to month without a subscription, but it's so well worth it. It's one of those magazines that I don't get to look at all the time. You know, I buy it and I put it aside, I look at it real quick and it's great, but I just don't have time. But every time I go back, even when I go back to 2009 issues, I mean, issues that are 5 or 6 years old, they're so inspirational and there's so much good stuff, especially the jazz column. A guy named Pete Callard does the jazz column and has been for a long time, and he is excellent. I mean, his performances on the tracks are always great. The licks that he picks to exemplify the musician that they're featuring that month are always stellar. So check that out. And what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about this lick. We're going to go quickly through it note for note, and if you want the transcription, I'll supply a link below in the description. You can grab the transcription there, the tab, and we'll talk a little bit of theory, but again, we're just going to go real quickly through this so you just have something to explore with. And if you do like this, please click like, please share the video, it really helps us out. Comment in the comments, let us know if you want to hear more of this stuff. All these things really help us gauge whether we're on the right track with our videos and what videos you guys want to see more of. So I thank you very much, and I will see you in a few seconds with the lesson. So real quickly, we'll walk note for note through this, and then we'll get into a little bit of the details. We're not going to dive too heavy into the theory or anything, but this is just a real quick lick for you. And if you do want more details, look in the description below, and there's a link for Skype lessons if you want to take a Skype lesson or two with me for me to go into some details on this stuff or any other kind of licks. So the idea starts out, basically the chords it's playing over a B-flat major 7, then it's kind of a turnaround going to a B diminished to a C minor 7 to an F7 back to B. So it's basically a 1, 2, 5, 1. Now this D diminished, or this B diminished, can also be thought of, shares similar notes of like a G 7 altered. Right? So again, we're not going to get too crazy into it. So this could really be looked at as a 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. But it's substituting that 1, the 6 is being a diminish up a half step. So again, there's more we can go into that. But the solo goes, and when it's going up on arpeggio, we'll get into the details later, 12th fret, D string, 10th fret, G string, 11, B, and 10, E. Right? But before it gets to that 10th on the E, it plays the 11th on the E. So it goes, right? And it pulls that off. And then it just goes down, back down that major shape. So it's the 11th fret on the B string, 10 on the G. Then it walks down some scale notes on the 13 to 12 of the D string. So and the feel is, and it does this cool little above and below a tone. So it's going the 10th fret D string, 12th fret on the A string, and then the 9th fret on the D string. So the whole thing is. Then it goes into that nice movement, which is pulling off the 9 to 8 on the B string, and then the 10 to 6 on the, the 10 to 8 on the G string. So the whole thing is. And it goes into this little phrase that it repeats, and with several notes. It goes the 9th fret D string, 7th fret of the G string, 10th fret on the D string. So then it goes the 10th fret A string, and then 8, 7 on the D string. So you have. Then it goes 6 on the D string, 6A, and then 5th fret on the D string, back to the 8th fret on the D string. All right, so that whole passage is. And the whole thing together is. Then it just slides up from the 5th fret of the A string to the 8th fret, and it actually picks that note when it gets there. And then you play the 8th fret on the D string. Right? So the whole thing together is. Right? And you could hear those chords going by, and again, we're not going to get crazy into the details of why, but it's basically on the B chord, on the B flat chord. It's walking up a B flat major triad, right? Then it targets a note. If you're thinking about the 6th chord, it's targeting the major third of that, right? Or the root of the diminished chord. Right? So you hear that movement. And that little is like doing, it's a chromatic or an approach tone, a way to approach a note. You go below the note, above the note, and then target the note. Whether you go a half step below, half step above, or a scale step below, there's a million different techniques, but, right? And then it does this, which we're not going to get crazy into, but really outlines that chord, or this chord. Then it goes to, and all those are just like doing, right? It's a note up, back down to the note before the first note you played. And then if you hear it all together, you have the B, right? That's over the diminished. And that's over the C, right? It's giving you like a major 7 there to approach the root note, right? And there it's still on C, but there it goes to the 5 chord, and it's targeting the major third of the 5 chord. And that's still on the F. Then it goes to the B chord, and that's just doing a, B major arpeggio, right? So it's really a simple thing, but it just sounds so effective. All right, just a great little lick. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's really quick, hopefully. If you guys want more of these licks, let us know in the description below. Give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe. All those things, like I said, help us know what videos you guys like and you want to see more of. We got a few really cool Coltrane ideas coming up in our next quick lick lesson. So we'll see you on the next lesson, guys.